Welcome everyone to the grand finale of Season 3 here in OWLS Esports in Mexico, and tonight is gonna be one of the most important rounds this season, as it's gonna be down to the last warrior between our championship contenders, Leo versus HB Cook, and this is gonna be quite an important one. They are 9 points away from each other, as you now see on the screen. Track Mexico, time of day releases, so it's going to be in the middle of the day. One sprint race followed by, it's going to be a sprint qualifying followed by a sprint race, then an 18-minute qualifying session, and then a 50% race. There are two possible ways for them to get the points. Cook needs to, of course, be up on top in minimum. The feature race, the sprint race, could not be yet for a win for Cook. 9 points is the difference. I will count them till before the end of the stream, so we will have a winner, a crowned winner before the end. We're also gonna have interviews after this on a interesting one, of course, between Leo and Cook, depending on how tonight's round is gonna go. It's gonna be 12 laps in the sprint, followed by 36 laps in the feature race. A long one for sure. I've had already a talk with Cook. He said he is mentally already exhausted before the round even started, and with that explains quite a bit of what mentality they go into this race. A very important, of course, still one to say. They need to keep their calm, they need to keep their focus up to bring it towards the line up in P1 and up with the most amount of points. Of course, P1 is where it all comes to the end. So the most amount of points is going to be the winner between the two. Leo just needs to have his car ahead of Cook's, and he is secured champion. Cook needs to gain a heaps amount of points, which are still possible in tonight's round, to Leo. And as the round will surely come to a start any minute now, the drivers set themselves ready for tonight's race. It's going to be about 30 seconds before the sprint qualifying comes to a start. There will be no practice. The practice session has already started about half an hour ago for the drivers, just to get used to the conditions, to the cars, to the track. It will be all for the fight. We are getting any second closer to the sprint qualifying. About 10 minutes of qualifying, followed then by the 12 lap race. No pit stops, neither will be followed in the race. Of course, will be all down to raw pace and luck. Of course, in the sprint race, these two are not the only drivers out on the track. We will also have the rest of the grid lining themselves up. We still have in the midfield a few battles that can decide their place in the championship. Of course, the main focus is between Cook and Leo, as we are still looking. 144 points for the Aston Martin driver, 135 for the McLaren driver, as Mercedes and Aston Martin are still in a bit of a fight as well for the top spot in the championship as well, between Special One and with Special One, of course, being the one driver. We don't have the second Mercedes in tonight's session, so Special One will have needs to have the weight of the team on their shoulders, while Leo has more than just a team on their shoulders. They have also the Drivers' Championship. Here we are now, coming ever so closer to qualifying. 12 minutes of qualifying. No drivers out yet on track, and tonight is going to be a very hectic one. We are looking for about a overcast qualifying session. It's going to be a random weather for the race, for both races, so we might have rain later in the race. Rain could still fall in qualifying. With an overcast weather like this in the game, rain is something that we could still look forward to. Here we are, we have a car already out, the Williams and the Haas of LEC. Of course, LEC has shown great pace, had won in Austria, had won in Miami, but last round off was not so lucky, had a bit of an incident in Baku, dropped down a few places. They were starting from pole position, but dropped down quite a bit. Here we are. Of course, had a few information about the track. 17 corners here in Mexico around the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. First opened and first Grand Prix held in 1963 with a length of 4.304 kilometers. Not a very long one, but still in the midst of the length in the tracks. There are about 36 laps to go for the full race. Of course, the lap record held by Valtteri Bottas in 2018 with a 1:18.741. As I say in the other rounds as well, we might see that lap time being blown out the window quite a bit. As in the game, of course, the drivers don't have to worry about their health, their real life bodies, and of course, a crash doesn't count for them to be hurt in real life. But also, they have way more to fight for. The cars do handle a bit different as well. They are a bit faster on pace than the real life cars. So we might see about 1 to 2 seconds faster lap times than the current real life lap record. We already have Armored Bot starting their lap on the soft compounds. LEC was on the medium, so something that is important to think. They only have a set amount of tires for the rounds for the weekend, and LE opts to go on the medium for the first banker lap of the session. Let's have a look here with the Williams. Let's also turn on some data for us. Here we go. Of course, purple sector 1, the first driver to set the sector 1 time. Something to look for. This tricky section here around turn 4, 5 and 6. Very difficult to get right. It's followed by 90 degrees corner, then a hairpin of turn 6. Something to look forward. A good overtaking maneuver if you have a good run out of turn 5. A good switchback opportunity as well. Then comes basically a flat section here through turn 7 to turn 11. A little bit of lifting for the first part of it, and then let the car flow through it. This corner here, turn 12, very difficult to get correct. There's an easy way to get a warning and an invalidation if you just go a bit too wide onto the AstroTurf on the exit. But the Williams of Armored Bot managed to get it quite nicely done, and we will have a first bank lap of a 1:16.194. Of course, LEC will be the second driver to complete their lap, 1:14.8, and we are already 4 seconds faster than the lap record, and Ellie has completely blown it out the window with the medium compounds. Then in the back, we have a few more cars coming around. The McLaren has started their lap. Will be a Ferrari, I believe, of Nick Purdy. Already coming out around the final sector as well through turn 13, 14 and then 15. This will be crucial for the exit. It is possible to see maybe a drag race for the championship on the line on the final lap, but here we go. Nick Purdy comes across the line at 1:18.9. Ellie has managed to get a beautiful banker lap with the medium compounds. Something interesting. Of course, the mediums are not the fastest tire to use. It depends on the track temperatures. The soft could overheat easy. This track does overheat quite a bit in the middle sector with the fast sweeping corners. We have William also completed their lap, 1:15.5. Ben in the Alpine has completed a lap of a 1:15.300, putting himself up into provisional P2 for the sprint race. We have a few more cars coming around. A few final corners. We have a kick Sauber, but has invalid and goes back to the pit lane. McLaren will be next of Cook. Our championship fighter, championship contender, goes across the line for a provisional pole position, 1:40.6, and this will help them greatly for a start in the sprint race. Where is Leo? Where are they? Currently setting a purple sector 1, going around the middle sector. We also have some Ferrari then crossing the line. Nick Purdy has finished their lap. Swaggy in the second McLaren goes into provisional 5th place. Currently the time to beat is a 1:14.6. We are here looking at Leo, one driver to really look forward to for the race. Also medium compound. Let's have a look what tire everyone goes on. The medium seem to be the choice of tire. They don't seem to be slower compared to the soft compounds. That was quite tricky. And that is an invalidation for Leo. He doesn't have much time. He does have to go back to the pit lane immediately, get a fresh set of tires and go out for another lap. 6 minutes. we have their teammate going round, the Joker as well, going round to start their lap. And we're on an out lap. Let's also have a look. There is a Red Bull crossing the line in 7th. That's Alpha Gordon. We have a reserve driver in the Red Bull here, putting that Red Bull in provisional P7. And this tension just rises. And here in the commentary booth by myself, I'm looking forward to have my voice being raspy by the end of the weekend. As of course there will be quite some exciting moments throughout the race weekend. It's puts the Ferrari up into P9 for now. Of course, the teammate goes around the final corner, but does decide to go back to the pit lane. I think there's also the second Haas going around the final corner is Grief, but they have invalidated that lap, so this lap will not count. So they have to start again. There is a Racing Bull about to finish their lap. It is the Racing Bull of Micah. Had a bit of a rough season so far, but good points scored so far, and looking to make it the final round where a lot of points could be scored. Micah has the consistency, had finished a few races in a good position. Sometimes the pace was questionable, but of course consistency is half the battle, and they've shown that even if they can't manage to fight for it, they still can get good amount of points. Joker had completed their lap for a P2, provisional P2. Cook's lap time is not beaten so far. Their lap time was on softs, but they've put new softs as well. Pardon me, their lap was on mediums, so they've put new softs now on there too. Something to look forward to. Let's have a look. Leo has left the pit lane for the outlap, so with a few minutes to spare, they need to warm those tires up quite fast. They're on the soft, so they're gonna risk it on the softest compound. Are they gonna be the fastest tire? We are not sure. Cook is probably looking to see what the Aston Martin does in response, and should be looking to maybe get the final lap. If they feel comfortable in the lap, we might see the McLaren stay in the pit lane with just one good banker lap. Of course, that is all that counts. You still have a few cars going around the few final corners. There is the Red Bull of the Love Magnets going around the final corner. I believe they have invalidated their lap, so that did not count. Then we have an Alpine going around the final corner. If it's an Alpine, we'll see. Maybe it's it was a Williams, but I think there in the kick sober was the car we just hopped on, and that was an incredible final sector to put themselves up into provisional P2, dropping Joker down one place. We see also around the final corner, Leo starts their lap. So let's have a look. Let's have an onboard look on what they see in the Aston Martin going up this very long DRS straight up towards turn 1, 90 degrees to the right. The braking point is around the bend here. Nicely on the sausage cup. Do not upset the car too much. On the sausage cup on the second, third corner. Jumped a little bit, but did not upset the car too much. Second DRS zone. Up towards turn 4. Careful with locking the tires here. Seems to be getting this car slowed down enough. Careful with track limits at the exit of turn 5. Now through turn 6. Seems like a double corner. It's just one. Now up towards turn 7. Shuffling down one gear. Stays on the same gear for the Aston Martin. Sometimes up 2. Shift down 1. Flat round here. And that is that sector done. Up towards turn 12. Third Aston was here. William gets provisional pole, but Leo seems to be strong in sector 1. Sector 2 was not purple. Now up towards sector 3. Can they get it together? Through turn 16. Careful to on the outside. Flat round here. Going across the line. And they go! Provisional pole position. Starting in P1. Cook was dropped down to P3, but they've gone out to start their lap. Will they have enough time on the board? Difficult to tell. There's the sector 2. Yellow flag, 1 minute 30. That is enough for the McLaren to start the last lap. The Alpine up in front has got a bit of a yellow flag to let the driver by. The Haas driver by up in front. Let's see if Cook might get past left pass as well. They do slow down just in case to not getting held up. The soft tires seem to be strongest for now. But William, surprise P2. Here we go now. Cook starts their lap. Let's have a look where they put that car, up towards the main straight. Yes, opens here. One of the longest straights on the calendar after Baku, which was last round. Up towards turn 1. Break it around the 100-meter board. Right-hander, doesn't ride as much curb as Leo did, but rides more in the second corner. On the exit turn 3, nicely on the track limits, inside the S zone here, through towards turn 4. They have gone up on their PB, but was not enough to get a purple sector 1. Slower than Leo did. Cook needs to find 4 temps. They only found 700s in his first sector. Leo has lost a bit in the middle sector. Let's have a look if the McLaren driver can find the lost time here. They don't have any slipstream advantage from the Alpine in front. They're just a bit too far. 30S zone here. Up towards turn 12. Careful on the track limits on the exit. That was very close, but there's a purple sector 2. Will the third sector be enough to put themselves up into provisional pole? 3 seconds remaining in session. This will be the final lap for the McLaren driver. Goes around the final corner. Will it be enough? Yes, it is. Provisional pole position beats Leo and starts in first. Pole position. Will Ellie be fast enough to snatch that from the McLaren? They've gained 2 times in sector 1. Gains a time in sector 2. Cook could be here in risk. At risk to lose that pole position. But Cook only needs to see to finish ahead of Leo. Get as many points as possible. Will Ellie shoot that dream down throughout the final corner? Here we go. And it's going to be provisional pole. It's going to be pole position by Ellie. Goes across 1:13.886. 3 tenths faster than the McLaren driver of Cook. And 4 tenths faster than Leo. And that is a top 3 start for the sprint race. And it's going to be an exciting one. Ellie showed their pace in the past 3 rounds. Of course, reserve driver jumped team a few times in the past few rounds, but always managed to snatch that pole position in qualifying. Baku was the only race where they had a bit of a mistake in the race, but were involved in an incident and put themselves down in P8. But LEC starts in pole position one more time for the sprint. Cook starts in P2. Leo in P3. That's going to be an exciting one between the two. William in P4. Ben in the Alpine in P5. Then the kick Sauber P6. Joke in P7. Special one in the Mercedes P8. El Falcon in P9. And Swag in the McLaren P10. And the Mercedes seem to be dropping too much pace to the Aston Martins to have a chance to fight. So Aston Martin seems to be securing the championship here as well before the feature race. A bit of time for the drivers to set their strategy and fuel. Of course, what time will they start on? The softs could not last the full race, so we might see medium all across the grid. Also with the fuel consumption, who will go risky with a lesser fuel tank, but having to maybe fuel it up, go with a lift and coast throughout the sprint race. We will have to see. It is the Haas of Ellie starting on pole position, taking away the grid. Then it's the McLaren and then the Aston Martin. Up towards turn 1, we could already see a change in the lead or a change of position between Leo and Cook. The McLaren has the inside line, so they have the advantage. 4 lights, 5 lights! As it's go in the sprint for everyone. Nice start from the Williams of William. Could get Cook. Cook lost to Leo. Leo already going aggressive to the inside to Ellie. William goes past the McLaren of Cook and the back with 3 wide. Leo goes for the inside. Will they get the Haas of Ellie? Not quite. Ellie defends perfectly. Cook drops down 4 places but gets positioned back up into Mercedes and kicks over round in the back. That is there who started in P4, P5, but up in front, Leo got the championship rival. They need to finish it to secure enough points to maybe have a secure feature race in the back. Ben and William are fighting. Also the Ferrari of Nick and apparently it's Pertz and Grief also side by side through turn 5, now through turn 7. Leo lost a bit of touch to Ellie. Cook lost the most touch to the 2 of them. Through sector 2. Mike had a big mistake, dropped down a few positions. Up in the back, we have a bit of tango here between the Red Bull and the Alpine. This could be a three-way battle for the 4th place. Keeping an eye out on the gaps. Doesn't seem to be any damage so far along the grid. The first lap was quite clean. There was only kicks up a slightly round, and the racing ball of Mike having a bit of issues. Now, DS available this lap. It will be onto the back straight in sector 2, where the first DS will be activated. Up in the front, we have a fight between Ben W and William. Ben had a look, but couldn't quite get it together. Up in front, the drivers are still in the DS zone, so we could have a look after turn 11. Will the Williams of William keep it together as well? Up in this train here that they've formed, the 4-way train with Swaggy joining in as well. Up in the back, we have the Red Bull has a bit of a fight with They're gaining those positions back, but there's a corner cut from the Love Magnet, getting a 3-second time penalty in lap 2 of the sprint. Right, let's have a look now at Leo. After this corner, DS will be available for them. Will they have enough speed? Will they have enough momentum towards turn 12? Not quite. But then, entering next lap will be the very long start-finish straight. And look at Cook gaining enough time. They have started onto the medium compound, which is very hard combo, which is very interesting, as the mediums could make it till the end. But maybe the hards could be the better strategy for the end of the race. DS available. Cook is closer to Leo than Leo on Ellie. Towards turn 1 in the back. Will there be an opportunity as well? I see the Red Bull having a bit of a look. Mercedes gaining a bit of time on Swaggy as well. Up in front, not enough time. But they are 2 tenths to each other. The championship rivals going into turn 4 with just 4 tenths different. But into the corner will only be 2 tenths. Now through turn 4 and 5, the Aston Martin lost a bit of time through turn 5, got a bit of a bad exit, but they have a bit of dirty as well from the Haas. So once Leo goes past, the Haas could ruin their dreams. Oh, a bit of rear end spin onto the curb of turn 9. In the back we have a bit of action as well. Another corner cut penalty, that was from Dom Clash in the Racing Bull. Now towards turn 12, is the Aston Martin close enough? They are front wing to rear diffuser entering turn 12, but not close enough, and this gives the opportunity to Cook to gain that time that they need for the start finish straight. Yellow sector 2, that's Micah being around, but gains it to car back. No safety car. Cook, fastest lap of the race. After the start finish, here we go. We have the DS open. Special one, fastest lap, but will it go through? There goes with the fastest lap. Could still drop down further. Towards turn 1, Leo looks for the inside, but backs out of it. They had the opportunity, but didn't think twice about that and backs out of that one. Now, for the second straight, Cook had a great exit there, side by side towards turn 4. Will Cook gain the position back? Yes, he does. The Aston Martin on the inside. They are tire to tire, wheel to wheel into turn 5. Cook pushes as the Aston Martin of Leo onto the curb. Now through turn 6. The Aston Martin gets a better run at the exit to turn 7 and gains back the position. And so these two go wheel to wheel throughout the start of sector 2. The Aston Martin got it back, but they have dropped it out of the DS detection zone of the Haas, and now Cook has the opportunity towards turn 12. They go side by side again. Will there be a switchback opportunity by the McLaren? Yes, there is, but will he take it with the exit? Not quite. Now through turn 13 and 14. The McLaren stays behind so far. The Aston Martin has to run, but now comes the straight, and here could be a great chance for the McLaren to gain that position towards the middle of the straight. The DS opens for the McLaren. They look for the inside, and it's an easy job for now. Go past. A lot of penalties in the back happening, but the McLaren of Cook goes past, and now the next car to look forward to is Ellie. Will something happen? There's a Ferrari having a crash in turn 16, retiring from the race. Not enough for a safety car. There's also a crash by Micah. Will that cause a safety car? Not enough to cause a safety. They go back up. 10-second time penalty for exceeded track limits. And now that gives in the camera booth a bit of time to also look in the middle of parts for P16. There's a battle between the Aston Martin of Joker. Joker really needs to get the points for here. The Aston Martin team does need to look, but I believe they lost connection. That's an AI driving there. Cook brings himself into the DS detection zone of the Haas. Could they keep it? The detection zone is after turn 14. It's not enough. They've not got it. They are outside of it. Now they're 8th, but that's too late. Will it be enough? Will the wing open for P9? There's a battle here between the McLaren and Dare. Dare managed to get themselves up some positions. Back up into P8 and now could get the McLaren for P9. But Leo had the DS. I believe the McLaren had the DS as well. They've gained enough time. Mike, another mistake through the middle sector. These three are again in 4/10 radius to each other. 6 laps down, 6 laps to go in the sprint. The McLaren goes up in turn 4, gains a lot of time. Those medium compounds are coming in for the McLaren, doing what they want. Doing everything that they hope for. Through turn 6, the McLaren needs to have the eyes up in front and behind. Cook needs to gain as many points as they can. Through turn 7, careful with the track limits. It's easy to go just a bit wide to gain that penalty point. Through here, the McLaren had a huge run. Now towards the straight. DS available for the McLaren. Can they get it? The Aston Martin might join in for the outside. Switch back onto for the McLaren. No bit of contact between the two. Debris flying. Through turn 14, 13 and 14, the McLaren could have a shot. The Aston Martin as well. The Haas is in a bit of a duck situation here between the two drivers. The Aston Martin had a bit of a bad exit throughout the final couple of corners onto the main straight. The McLaren opts to the S. Uses all of their batteries for help. Goes towards the inside. Do they get the position? Yes, they do. Up into the lead. The Haas had no way to respond there. And drop into P2 and Leo in P3. These are the points that Cook needs to gain for the feature race to minimize that lead. 9 points difference between the two entering this round. We will have a look after this round how many points difference it will be between the two. Towards turn 6. The McLaren had the fastest lap out into P5, so it's a battle as well. Side by side between the Red Bull and the Williams. Oh, there's a contact. Ben W goes off. That's the Alpine, pardon me. Which contact between them have been pushed off and drops down P7. Special one goes up a place, but they did pick up a penalty. Let's have a look how that is going so far. 3 seconds across the penalty grid, except for Michael has gained a 16-second penalty. Let's have a look back up into the front. We see here the McLaren leads off into lap 8. 4 laps to go. They need to keep their calm, need to keep their pace. The McLaren seems to be fast so far, but Ellie could be under threat by Leo. Leo uses the battery, but then backs out of it. There's a crash. A Harker had a bit of a crash. Goes off in turn 12. Are they still good? They rejoin back. Disqualified from the session for driving the wrong way. And that is sadly disappointed. I believe they just tried to go back towards the track, and that is it for that. No safety, of course. Yellow flags throughout there. Cook leads off this pack. In the back between the P5 battles also going on. The Mercedes could have a run. Could be under threat by the Alpine, who had the incident last lap round these couple corners. In P7, the Alpine follows the Mercedes throughout the middle sectors. But let's have a look up in front. The Haas of Ellie is under pressure by the Aston Martin to turn 13. Difficult to gain time through it, but the Aston Martin showed a bit of a weak spot around these couple corners. Always having a bit of a bad run entering the straight. This time again loses out a few tenths on the exit. But the McLaren of Cook, calm and collected, leads off into lap 9. In the back, the Alpine has a good chance to get back into P6 towards the S zone now. Opens, yes, uses the battery. It's an easy overtake through here. Nicely done. Goes back up into P6. And the Mercedes could not respond. Can they respond to the next straight? My eyes are still on the minimap. Up in the back, there's also a battle between the Ferrari, the Racing Bull, and I believe that's Aston Martin in the midst of that. But the AI drive, of course, can't. Here we see Dom Clash, DS open, overtakes Nick Purdy for the Mercedes. That's a penalty. Alfa Romeo in the Red Bull. 3 seconds penalty. That has happened up in front. And so Ben W gets currently promoted up into P5 after that slight collision. 2 laps to go. Cook leads off. Leo had the position back on Ellie. Managed to get past. Ellie dropped a few paces to stay starting on pole position. Dropped down into P3. Entering lap 10. Now Cook is the sitting duck here. Leo has a DS. 8 tenths could put it down to up to 3 tenths here on this end of the straight, which could have to help towards turn 4. A-Hawker leaves the session. A bit of a sad moment, but up towards turn 1, not enough time gained for the Aston Martin. We have off the bell for P5 between Alfa Romeo and Ben. Ben got past this time. Not too many issues using the DS help, especially on another 3-second time penalty up behind the P7. Could drop down to P8 and dead. Could get another position done. Now let's see into a top 3 battle here between Cook and Leo. A championship routes are currently holding 1-2. Cook needs this. Cook also needs to hope that Ellie finds the pace to maybe get past Leo throughout here. Going round through turn 9, 10 and 11. There's a sector 1 incident. That's the Haas involved in a bit of a crash. Bit of a mistake. Now gets involved in this mixed battle here. 4 P12 drops down. Dom Clash goes up another position. The Aston Martin. The AI doesn't make it easy. Goes for an overtake, but drops down a bit of position. Then Nick Petty goes back up. Joker, the AI drops down to P15. Of course, they don't have a penalty, so they are currently on paper up into P13, but back onto the main straight. Lap 11. Second to final lap for our leaders. Leo has a great run towards someone, looks for the inside, goes late on the brakes. Is he braver? Do the mediums have the tire life? Side by side through turn 2, wheel to wheel. No! They collide! And Cook is round. And he goes back into the lead. And so Cook drops down another place. The stewards are going to have a look at that one after the race. But that is not what they want to see. That is very, very disappointing to see out of turn 3. An impeccable crash happening between the 2 championship rivals in the final round. So Leo could secure some more. Leo is securing more points so far. I believe that was not malicious. That was just a little bit of a race. So Ellie gets a penalty, and so Leo could be promoted up into P1. So far, entering the final sector for the second to final lap. Could Cook maybe gain the time back to finish in a strong P3 after that collision between the two? Few more penalties happening across the board. I couldn't catch all the names, but Alfa Romeo was one of them. Up into the final lap. Cook has a chance to gain the time to William. They are in the DS range, but they also a bit of pressure from behind from Ben. Up into turn 1. Can the McLaren get the position on the Williams to finish a strong P3 to not lose too many points to the Aston Martin? Micah gets another 3-second penalty, 19 seconds on the time penalty altogether. Entering turn 4, the Williams guns a bit deep, giving the McLaren a good shot. Bit of a loose run by the McLaren. Entering turn 5, now through turn 6, the McLaren could have a shot to get the podium position back. Leo is not getting past the Haas, but that's not too much of issues with the penalty from the Haas. The McLaren goes a bit wide to get over the track limit warning, but they still have some to gain. So, entering the final time through the essay, there was a bit of a loose run by the McLaren. Can they get the position onto Williams? Towards turn 12. Is William under pressure by the McLaren? Entering the final laps. Ellie crosses turn 16, then turn 17 to cross the line first. But Leo will be a sprint race winner. But there is not still the time to celebrate for the championship. They will gain all 8 points from the sprint, while Cook will only gain 4 points. Sadly, sad to see of that incident. Cook could have fought for that win, but sadly dropped into P4. Still good points for them. And with that, we enter the sprint, the feature race. with about a 13 points difference between the two. It is still very much possible for Cook to get the championship. It could also be that Leo could get a penalty across with that incident. It is all for the stewards to decide afterwards. It's still all open, and there will be a statement in the Discord after the race if anything happens between the two pair, the championship contenders. Micah, so final car on track. Bit of front wing damage on that Racing Bull, but will the final car to cross the line through turn 16 and turn 17. And here we see the sprint race coming to an end, an exciting one. And if that's how the sprint is going, I have very much hopes for the feature race to be full of surprises. Let's have a look also if there's some words shared between the drivers, but it is important. 8 points gained by Leo, 5 points by Cook, my apologies, so it's 12 points entering the feature race for the final race of the season. Let's have a see, a look how the feature race goes. Of course, there will be one qualifying session before the race, so I believe I've got a request that is not for the session. So let's have a look for the qualifying session between Leo and the McLaren of Cook. 12 points entering the feature race. 25 points to be gained if you win the race. The point system is the same as in real life, so I can run you quickly down. First place gets 25 points, then second place gets 18 points. That is already 7 points difference. Then third place gets 15 points. That's 10 points different between first and third. And for the McLaren of Cook, they need to hope that Leo finishes in 12th if they win the race. There is a 13 points difference between the two. Of course, with a fastest lap point goes a long way as well. For Cook to win the championship, they need to win the race, and Leo needs to finish the highest position of P4. Will that happen? Will this be the case? Mexico has a lot to offer. Micah gets a red qualifying ban, so retires from the session. We have a few cars out already. The first car to start their banker lap is the Racing Bull of Dom Clash. 1:13 are the laps we are looking forward to see in this qualifying session here. 5 more minutes in this qualifying session than we had in the sprint qualifying, so about 2 more laps that are virtually be able to be done by the drivers here tonight. Cook is staying in the pit lane, so is Leo. Dom Clash is gonna start that lap first. Beautiful engine sounds by the Racing Bull, the Red Bull power unit. Beautiful sounds. Here we go, starting that lap. Now around the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez racetrack. We're going onto the long straight. The air is wide open. We are expecting to have, let's have a look what top speeds they reach. 330 around the straight. That is quite a long straight with the car setting the top speed. How much a ref limiter allows them. 339. That is very, very fast, I have to say. Can be a few tenths, a few hundred meters gap on a track up towards The second sector, very tricky one. We've seen a few collisions throughout here in the sprint. There's a few tangles by the drivers. Of course, the track is wide, but has some narrow sections by the entry of turn 5 between turn 4. That little straight. Of course, the chicane. There is one specific line that can be taken. If you go side by side, it's very difficult to have the same piece of tarmac that you can go through. And now let's have a look by the Racing Bull. What banker lap they bring in. Don Clash crosses the final corner to put a lap of a 1:16.8. 3 seconds down to what Ellie has put in the sprint qualifying, but still a very competitive lap. A Hawker beats it by 5/10 or 1:16.3. Up in the back, the Alpine starts, Williams completes that lap. It's a 1:14.6. How do you forget the Williams and Alpines are confused on the minimap? They are basically the same color. It's really tough to see the difference between the Racing Bull, Alpine, Williams and Red Bull. Throughout the final corner is a kick sauber. It's a kick sauber of Dare Tenuyo, posted on provisional pole position 1:14.3 of a good banker lap. Then it's an Aston Martin going around the final corner. I believe that's the Aston Martin of Leo starting their lap now, and the Mercedes also starting their lap. The McLaren of Swaggy also starts their lap, and it's an Alpine crossing the line. I believe that's Ben. Yeah, Ben crosses the line for a 1:40.7. 4 tenths down to there. Before we get a tenth difference, there is a few good acceleration points difference between the two. Now it will be a Williams crossing the final corner. I believe that is the Williams of Ahmed starting their lap. Then the Williams of William goes back to the pit lane. Then it's a McLaren of Cook starting their lap to start their banker lap, the first banker lap of the session. And we have already used about 5 minutes of the session for 6 cars to start to put a banker lap in. And that shows how quick those sessions go through. Absolutely interesting how the drivers also handle these quick sessions. Leo goes to a provisional pole position with a 1:13.9. Not the fastest lap they've put in. Pardon me, the fastest lap they've put in so far in this race weekend. Of course, it was still Ellie who had put the fastest lap on the board in sprint qualifying. It's a Ferrari next to cross the line. I believe it's Pert who crossed the line in up to P8 for 1:16.2. And it's an Williams crossing the line. I'm a bot in P14 crosses the line. I believe invalidates that lap, so we'll do another. Then it's a second Ferrari crossing the line to start that lap of Nick Purdy. And McLaren of Cook goes into provisional P2. 2 tenths down Leo. And those 2 tenths are all to be played for. Cook needs to finish first to have a good shot to win the championship. Leo needs to finish 4th or lower to lose this championship. Of course, 12 points in the lead. Leo is a bit comfortable. They don't have to full on push. They know they have a bit of a cushion with that sprint result. But of course, the stewards again could have a look as well for that lap. Then Joker starts their lap as well. It's a Ferrari going back to the pit lane for the in lap, and then a Haas of Grief completing that lap. Around the final corner, turn 16, then turn 17. Looks to be around a 1:16.8 for the Haas to cross the line. Currently one of the slower drivers to have crossed it, but with 10 minutes remaining, these are just the banker laps. Need to be careful to not use too many tires as well. I believe the next car to cross the line will be a Red Bull of the Love Magnet. Will this be an outlet? This is an in lap for them, so they will come back to the pit lane to complete their first stint out on the track. Kick Sauber next out on track. It's a kick Sauber off there. They will start their lap here again, looking to maybe beat their current lap of 140.3. Maybe even looking to be a contender for the pole position against Leo, Cook, and Ellie. Ellie still hasn't done their lap. I believe they are waiting. I have no information if they have a qualifying ban, so we have to look for that. Nick Purdy, I believe, does have a qualifying ban, so they are stuck there in the pit lane as well. 9 minutes remaining in the session, and with that, still all to be played for between Leo and Cook. Leo is on an out lap, so they are crossing turn 4 now. With their teammate up in front, there could be a bit of slipstream games happening here. Medium compounds for Leo. The same strategy they've done in the sprint qualifying. The mediums do seem to be quite a fast tire on this track and for the qualifying session. So I've been told by Ellie there is no qualifying ban on their end, which I believe is good to know. So they're waiting for a good opportunity to get out on track. Of course, the track does go greener by the minute by each car driving on it. So we have a look where they put it. They had the fastest lap in qualifying, in the sprint qualifying. Will they put it for the feature qualifying? Be the roadblock between Leo and Cook. Of course, with the collision that has happened in the sprint between the two, this is a quite by the book championship battle. Has many reminders of real life moments. Don't want to bring back some PTSD of a certain year which has happened not long ago, but these two are making it in a quite exciting final round. So Leo is currently on their hot lap, on their fast lap here on the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez racetrack through turn 7. Charging the battery throughout that straight, which is a smart strategy, as of course the next straight is a DS straight where the battery can help quite a bit. Here we go, DS opens now through turn. I say turn, this is still a straight. That little kink after the DS activation point is still does not count as a corner, which is quite a funny part. Some tracks do count that as a corner, some tracks don't. But there's the mountain now, across the final corner. Find a couple corners to put their car nowhere as they go back to the pit lane. Back to the pit lane with 7 minutes remaining. They still have quite a bit of time. Up in the back, and the kick Sauber goes back for an out lap. Ellie has decided to also go on the out lap now with 7 minutes remaining. 7 minutes remaining. I mean, there's still a bit of time to do a second lap if they manage to do a fast in lap to complete one final lap in the final stages of qualifying. Currently, our championship contenders are securing P1 and P2 respectfully, as the championship standings are also on the board. I have to remind you to the viewers, currently the championship standings between the two contenders are 12 points after the sprint race. Leo has gotten 8 points, so it goes from 144 to 152, while the McLaren of Cook, 135 points, goes with the 5 points to 140 points. So that's a difference between the two. 152 versus the 140. Ellie goes purple sector 1, showing what they've got in that Haas. Going through sector 2 now. No mistakes throughout here. Planted as they'd love. Now through turn 7. That Haas seems very comfortable through here. Being the reserve driver for the second half of the season in the Haas. Definitely could secure their spot for a full-time seat in the next season, which will be in a new game as well. Looking forward to that. So a talk that is interesting. course, new game, new physics, all to be newly learned. So of course F124 has a bit of a different physics model than F123 did, and there was a lot to learn for. But talking about the lap times, LEC goes for the provisional pole position with the same lap time, nearly, which they've done in the sprint qualifying with 1:13.881. Beautifully done by the Haas. Through their first banker lap as well. Of course, invalidated their outlap, but there is nothing to be worried about. They could just be looking to get safely back to pit lane. Pardon me there. Get safely back to the pit lane too, if they need to get a fresh final set of softs to do one final bank lap. I believe they know that they're currently on the stream on the broadcast. A little bit of a wiggle there. A few turns, 10 and 11, currently our provisional pole position sitter. There we go, coming out that shot. And here, Williams starts that up to the back. We have a few cars out as well. Special one. Oh dear, that's quite a cut there. Of course, that is legal on the outlap, just trying to save as much time as possible. In the back, we have the Love Magnet and as well the Mercedes of Special One doing their hot lap. So Special One will be the first one of those drivers to finish their hot lap. Will they put their car up towards a good competitive PE position? Of course, P8 is still very strong. Only Mercedes driver on track today. The Mercedes versus Aston Martin Championship battle seems to be sealed, but no, Special One goes back to the pit lane. Love Magnet will be the next car to cross the line throughout the final sector. You see how tricky those couple corners are. You see the weight difference where it all goes, wobbling the car all over the place throughout the line. The Love Magnet does improve on the lap time, but not in position and stay in P11. Dom Clash is also on the lap, going through the middle sector. Next car to complete their lap. Here we are in the midst of the DS zone. 1.5 seconds down. This will not be a competitive lap, so I believe they will bring it back to the pit lane. Fuacono Star is in the midst of that lap as well. DS zone here. Purple, sector 2. Could this be a surprise pole position by the Red Bull? Maybe there's a very strong sector 2. We don't know the sector 1 time, but we might have someone securing the top spot other than the usual 3 that they've done. So the Red Bull goes across the line to go into P8. Was a strong lap, but not enough to fight for the provisional pole position. Our top 3 drivers are currently all on a hot lap. William crossed the line to stay in P4, but might do another lap. Not enough battery. We saw that flashing. That means that the battery is under 10% or charging, depending on what the driver does. But if it flashes across, so there's a car around. That's an Aston Martin. Which Aston Martin is that? That is not Leo. That's one of Joker. Quite a surprise that could have put everything upside down. That spin could cost 1 minute 30 remaining. Which one out of the top 3 will be the first to cross the line? It's the McLaren of Cook to start their lap first. Caution sector 2. That's a Haas leaving by. That is, I believe, Ellie. Yes, that is Ellie. Could they be looking to maybe play some DS games for the final lap? So Cook, first right to start. They need to manage to put their car ahead of Leo. Hopefully this time not having a bit of a worse start than Leo did last time. Keeping that McLaren up in front if they manage. Oh, that could be invalidation, but does not. They managed to keep it out of the invalidation zone, but that could have cost them a lot of time. That cost them nearly 2 tenths. They need to gain about 4 tenths in the next 2 sectors to fight against Leo. Is it possible for the McLaren? Can they do it? Could they find those lost 4 tenths somewhere around this lap? They still seem to be going very fast. Didn't decide to slow down to charge ability. They decide to keep going towards turn 12. That's a purple sector 2. 1 tenth up, but that's not enough to fight against Leo. They need to find another 3 tenths throughout this sector here. Did they find it? Is there somewhere in there where they found it? Using all the road on the exit of turn 16, now through turn 17, and that is not enough. Not an improvement. Stay in P2. Leo, on the other hand, is basically on par with the sector 2 time. Goes to cross the line for sector 3 to a golf provisional pole position. But will Ellie respond? They are up on the sector 1 time. That is already enough to put them in provisional pole position. Up in sector 2. Again, gaining more time. Now through sector 3. This could be enough to put Ellie back on provisional pole position. Pardon me, not provisional. This will be for the pole position. The Haas crosses the final corner 2. Not improved. That is not enough time to improve, and they start in P2. Leo, pole position in the Aston Martin, securing a good starting position for the race. Cook needs to do the absolute hardest to fight the Aston Martin in the race, in the feature race. Strategy will be a huge play tonight in the sprint race. I will quickly take a break for a water break. So to remind us to all the viewers, keep your hydration levels high as well. Very important. And with that, we're gonna enter the feature race for the finale of season 3. 10 rounds was all here. All the spectators in the game being on sync on the left hand side. That is quite a funny spectacle to look at. But they're all hoping, and I hope also you viewers are hoping to have a fantastic final race here to look forward to. I am quite excited to see who will get it. It is all to play. 12 points is the difference to the 2 championship contenders. I can't say it enough, but who could get it? Leo seems to be currently in favoritism by the points. Of course, the feature race has so much. It's quite an exciting one. We don't know how it plays out. Mexico always has quite of a turn of events in play. With the crash that happened in the sprint race, how will it go? So 3, 4, 5 rights, and it's go for the final time in season 3, and it's Leo to take away the grid. Is Eddie fast enough to get it? Not enough, but it's put themselves into the system immediately towards turn 1. Will Ellie get it done? Onto the outside. Will they get the position? Not quite. There's some on defense, but goes to wide. They're already wheel to wheel, nearly intersect turn 2, now to turn 3. The Haas stays behind Biden in the back. 3 wide positions between Ben, Joker, and Dare. William was nearly part of it as well, but still up in front. The Haas goes for the inside. Breaks later. Biswood more confident, wheel to wheel through turn 5. They are banging wheels on the exit in the back. There's also wheel banging. There's a Ferrari and the Williams colliding. It's put an armor board, part of an incident in the back. There's also Kick Summer going up for a position on the Red Bull, but Eddie goes into the lead. Amazing race start here in Mexico, and Cook is already on the rear end of the Aston Martin, and it's a race start of the sprint all over again. Will we have a bang repeat of what we saw about half an hour ago? Maybe. These are the strategies. Mediums to hards, or a 2-stopper, medium hards. Let's have a look at what tires everyone chose. The top 8 have decided on the medium, then it's special on the hard. So we could see the top 3 doing the same strategy. Leo needs to finish behind the Alpine or whoever is in P4 to lose the championship if Cook gets to the win. A Harker retires from the race. Had a bad incident, I believe they were part of a lap 1 collision. We are going to look at Leo being in between the race championship rival and LEC 1 driver who can put a lot of pressure for the finale here. It is very, very much to play for. Who is going to take it? Who is going to be the champion tonight? The Aston Martin Leo follows the Haas. Could have a shot. They now have DS throughout this lap. DS available. Up towards the final corner. William gets already a 3-second time penalty. So, let's have a look. Let's keep the penalty tab open already. Leo goes for the fastest lap of the race on 70.2. But that might not stand for long. Because once the fuel loads goes down. But here we go. Leo goes for the inside to change the lead of the race. Here we go. Nicely done on the inside. Not overshooting it at all. Through here now. The Aston Martin might have DS again, as this is a continued DS zone, a connected DS zone. And the McLaren does not lose time. Neither goes to the inside of the Haas and goes up into P2. Does not want to lose that championship rival offside at all. And he could still be a bit of a game changer for the two. Still so close together. Entering the middle sector. The McLaren follows through, still in the S zone. And that is a good play for them. They could gain a lot of time. Third DS zone through here. Opens the DS. Up towards turn 12. Brakes later than we saw the Aston Martin did. Stays towards the track limits. And here we see the stadium section of turn 14, 14, 15. A old baseball arena. But now turned into a racetrack. Formula E also races through there. But let's keep an eye out for our championship rivals. Cook goes for the fastest lap of the race. Has the DS. Gains a lot of time. Is it going to be enough for the end of the straight? They look for the inside. Yes, it could be. Late on the brakes. Brave on the brakes. But no, the Aston Martin is also very brave. Wheel to wheel. Through turn 2. This is where last race did it happen. And Ellie follows through to go back up into P2. And so Leo drops down to P3. And so Cook gets a shot for the win. For the lead of the race. Leo has to have a look. Ben W could ruin everything for Leo around here now. Between the two, Leo is now between Ellie, a very fast driver, and Ben, who has shown potential as well this season. Nearly getting the win in Austria after he slid into the between the two. Leo was involved there. Here we go, the top 3 not leaving each other at all. Through turn 12, McLaren still up in front. There's a penalty up behind by Micah. Bit of contact between the Aston Martin and the Haas. Where the fuse of my front wing have touched a little bit. But Cook is under threat here to lose this. Their P1, their lead. The Haas, theirs opens. Also their Aston Martin. And up towards LEC gets the lead back. Will the Aston Martin follow through as well? Not enough. But of course the next DS is also connected. The McLaren still doesn't have DS through the straight. They need to use the battery to stay behind. But of course, low wings will also help. Look at this slipstream. The McLaren is losing no time to the Haas. To turn 4 now. The Aston Martin might have had a look there, but couldn't make it through. Ben still follows through, so does William. If Leo gets a penalty by what some unlucky mistake, that is their championship. Done and dusted. But Cook so far needs to secure the win. They need to be safe that they're gonna finish in that P1 towards turn 12. The Aston Martin makes himself visible on the inside. Not enough. The Alpine behind is still in danger. And there's the Aston Martin losing the rear end a little bit, locking up, but not enough to make him cause a mistake. The Aston Martin gains on Cook, but Cook loses touch to Ellie a little bit. The S is available here, so all that time lost will be gained immediately. But this is difficult for Leo to gain time as well. Towards turn 1, and there's McLaren already looking for the outside. Gets a position done immediately. Nicely done, knowing that Leo can't follow through. The S Martin couldn't get the Haas. And behind, Ben is still in pressure distance. Towards turn 4. The S Haas defends the inside. The S1 of Leo couldn't do anything. So there's a bit of contact behind between William and Ben. It's also Joker joins in as well. They're all a second to each other. They are all so close. This train is absolutely impeccable. But the top 3 are just in a little bit of a bubble of their own. Leo is just 2 tenths behind Ellie. Ellie is 4 tenths behind the McLaren of Cook. Can Cook keep it? There is a bit of enough gap. But between these 2 drivers here, Leo and Ellie has shown in the past 2 races that they will not let the position by Sofa, and they know they are quite a bit factor in this championship. If anything happens, if Leo might lose it, I believe the 2 drivers might have a talk together onto the main straight. Lap 7 out of 36. The S open by the 2 P2 and P3 drivers, the Haas and the Aston Martin. Cook loses a position. This seems to be a bit of a trend in tonight's race, with the leads changing quite a few times. Will this be enough though? The McLaren knows they have the pace. They know that this is currently still in their favor. They just need to hope that P4 gains just enough time to maybe have a chance to overtake Leo. Cook's championship hopes are still all there on the table to be grabbed. Of course, the fastest lap can help as well. It will be a tie if Cook finished in first. Leo in 4th, but if Leo gets the fastest lap, it will be a tie, which will be decided by who has the most wins this season. And I believe that goes to Leo, sadly. So if that goes, Cook could lose it on a tiebreaker. Afterwards, all the from P10 to P17, it's all penalties across the board. It's just how easy it is to get a penalty here. And now Eddie is under threat to lose that position throughout this main straight. Now, and that is quite the games they're playing tonight. William lost touch. Ben lost 2 positions as well to the 2. But here, that Haas drops down both positions. Drops out to P3. Cook does not like to see that. This is not what they're hoping for. But Leo could ruin the chances. Leo currently has the crown on their head. Slowly keeping it to them. Still not even halfway through the race. The strategy looks to be hard for the next stop for the 2. Unless one goes for the risky 2 double stop strategy. In the back, the Williams is just not catching enough time to maybe put pressure on them. 2 seconds gap between Ellie and William. William. But here we go. Before the lead of the race, Leo goes for the inside towards turn 12. Banging, nearly wheeled. Touching front wing and rear tire. And there is Cook nearly dropping 2 positions. Could this be what breaks the race for him? Touching wheels, banging wheels through turn 15. Drops down, goes for the inside of the Haas. They're side by side, and that's a lot of time lost to the Aston Martin. But the Aston Martin won't have the S4 now. And so this could be all the time gained for Cook again. They're still side by side. But the McLaren of Cook gets it back and goes only for the inside of the Aston Martin. The Aston Martin stays up in front of McLaren. Stays in P2, but this is a great opportunity for the McLaren now. Goes for the outside. Already got it on a great traction run out of turn 3. Goes up into the lead for P4. And so Ellie follows through to go up into P2. And Joker could have the chance to break it for their teammate. Will we see teammate heartbreak in tonight's race to just add one more to the bingo of tonight? It is so much to be played. So much to be played for. So many plot twists that can happen in this race. But up in front, Ellie goes for the nearly goes for the overtake on the McLaren. Stays behind for turn 12. McLaren stays up ahead, but onto the straight now. And Joker and the Williams cut all the time back to the top 3 battle here. McLaren takes it quite a bit slower than Haas. He goes for the Haas goes for the undercut. Ellie goes for the undercut. Will it work? Will it be enough? Some drivers go for it as well, up in the back. But now Cook and Leo are 1-2. Let's see where Ellie comes out after these 2 pits. Joker could be a factor for this as well. 2 words, turn 4. We go. The McLaren of Cook leads off into turn 4. The Aston Martin didn't have enough time, enough pace to push and get it done. Up in the back for P3, the Williams could also be putting pressure here. Did Ellie come out in traffic? No, they did not. Full on, clean air up in front, full push for the Haas of Ellie. Up in front. 2 times gap between Leo and Cook. Joker has 3 times behind. This is a 4-way train here. Could Joker gain it? Do they have enough straight line speed or battery towards turn 12? The Joker does a bit of a mistake. Goes wide and so Williams goes up into P3. Could William ruin the hopes for Leo? Pardon me, I nearly said Joe there. No, I meant Leo. And so Cook responds to Ellie's undercut. And Leo stays out. And this could be a bit of a breaker. Of course, they have DRS, but no car in front for the slipstream. The Williams will gain a lot of time through here. Could maybe even get the position onto the next straight. Where is Ellie? Where's Cook gonna come out? Ellie! What an undercut! That is a lot of time gained! And with that knowledge, pardon me, Leo is pretty much under pressure. Oh dear. This is all interesting. So Cook comes back behind Ellie with a 3 seconds difference. 3 whole seconds. That is a lot of time. William got a penalty. Could not gain enough time to Cook. Cook gets a penalty. 3 seconds. And that is not what they want. That is quite a heartbreak. Of course, it's still such a long race. Maybe the top 2 drivers could also get a penalty. Leo stays out for another lap. Interesting call there, knowing that the undercut gains 3 seconds. Those mediums don't lose a bit of a decline now. Towards now through lap 12. We're nearly halfway through the race. About 5 to 10 laps left to the half the race. But not. For the race is already behind us, and with the first stop already behind us, it is all interesting here. We see the McLaren, pardon me, the Aston Martin of Leo still leading off. William of course is just behind with their 3-second penalty. Can't put too much pressure so far. Ellie goes back another place under the McLaren of Swaggy, not making too much pressure there. Because those worn mediums are a bit tough to get together. Cook goes up into P8. And they're just losing enough time away in the dirty air. Collision between the Kick Sauber and the Haas of Grave and Dare. Yeah, pardon me, the McLaren is a bit of pressure here by the Kick Sauber behind. Through this, yeah, so of course McLaren doesn't have it, but the Kick Sauber does it. They go for the inside. Will the top 3 pit? No, they are not pitting yet. They're staying out. And so Williams with the DS goes for the overtake. William goes into provisional lead of the race. Of course, with the 3 seconds penalty, still not quite there. Joker is well just behind. which one of the two Aston Martins will pit first. Knowing that the undercut is stronger, the smarter call will be for Leo to be the first driver to pit. But if Joker goes in first, this could still be a bit of a troublemaking for Leo. In the back, Cook stays in P8 but is slowly gaining to the teammate. Ellie got about another second to Cook, securing good times. And with that, Cook could not be set for the win, and Leo is currently even pushing to be even more our championship champion here in Season 3. Will they go for the pits now, or will they stay out? The Williams stays out, and both Aston Martins stay out. What is their strategy here? What are they planning to do? Around lap 14 now. Towards turn 1. William leads the way. Leo is in P2 there. He has lost the DS to William. And Joker can put a bit of pressure onto the teammate now. Throughout the second straight. Does Joker have enough pace? Goes with the DS. Goes for the inside. And overtakes it. He goes brave on the brakes side by side. Could they bang wheels free? And no, they do not. But so Joker goes into P2. And this is what Cook would have hoped for if he managed to gain the time on Ellie without that penalty. But now Cook just had lost too much time, and that penalty is gonna play a huge factor in this race. Williams stays in the lead so far. Are they gonna pit this time, or are they staying out? They're taking all the time on all the life of those tires before switching onto the harder compounds. It could also be that they're going for a bit of a strategy play here to maybe even go in the softer compound. Leo goes into the pit lane. Pits now. Virtual safety car. Beautiful timing for Leo. Who's it for? That's for the Ferrari. Is it by Nick Pertz? They might have had a little bit of a spin. It's a full safety car. A full safety car called. Ellie goes up into P4. Where is Cook? Cook goes past. Cook is past Leo. And so is there. And this is a huge, huge opportunity. This is huge for the two. Pardon me there. A bit of a break. So, Cook is in P5 with Eddie in P4. Joke up in front. Might not gain much out of this safety car then. After their bit of a play strategy, they might not manage. So it is Ellie who could be leading the race after everyone in front pits. So, who could get it? Who could come out? And now, with the safety car here, we see now the top two drivers pitting. So there's a Mercedes, and it might be Ellie. Ellie goes in as well. Surprise stop, could be switching back onto the mediums. What is Cook gonna do? Is he responding? No, he responds by staying out. Interesting call by Ellie. Goes in for this for a tires change. So let's see what tire they've gone on to. They have gone onto a fresh hard compound. We've seen Ellie do that strategy once. And now, and this is a big if Leo gets a penalty, Cook could be crowned champion. But if Leo doesn't get a penalty, it will be trouble for the McLaren driver. In about 2 laps, we've entered the halfway point of the race. And so, with this surprise safety car coming out, weirdly enough, it's saying virtual safety car is a bit of a mistake there. Of course, it's not a virtual. We have full safety car out in track. It might also be saying that the virtual safety, full safety car stays out even after it goes in. Something to just forget. And of course, the game has a few bugs in the code. Oh, pardon me. It's just a bit of issues. Pardon me, there. What's happened? We see a bit of a lag spike happening there, but Cook stays up in the. Cook is our current leading driver. They are leading the race behind the safety car. It might be another 1 or even 2 laps behind said safety car, and I cannot express what feelings I am feeling, or even what the drivers could be feeling, with Cook being in a bit of a surprise turn of events, being back in the lead, but with the 3-second penalty. That is costly. Without the penalty, even with the penalty, they're still leading. But what is most important is that Leo needs to either have a 3-second gap to William, or get a penalty as well and not manage to get past. If Joker goes past, that could put a bit of pressure on Leo, but with the 6-second penalty of there, Leo could still gain 2 positions. Currently, Leo is in provisional P2 with those currently provisional P1 with those penalties. But if Cook gets off to a really good start and manages to get a 3-second gap to win Leo, Leo could realistically only jump up to a P2. If there manages to get a 6-second gap on Leo, which is a really tough thing to do, but very much possible. Leo is in P3. If Joker goes past, Leo will be demoted down to P4, but it is all what if games. Safety car in this lap, so the McLaren Mercedes engine car will take it away here in Mexico. And that was the restart from the McLaren. Couldn't manage to get there off the tail. And the top 4 are all together. But Joker didn't manage to get a good race. Safety car restart. The Williams goes for the inside but couldn't manage. And so Leo could go for an overtake. They are side by side. And does go up into P3. Is the Williams going to put pressure on the outside? But not enough. And so Leo secures P3, pardon me, is currently leading virtually the race with those penalties applied up at the front. So that was Leo's great safety car restart. Now entering lap 18, being in lap 18. It's Perez has collected quite a few penalties, getting 2 10-second penalties and then now a 3-second penalty, being up to 29. William gets another 3-second time penalty, so Leo is currently very much set to stay up into the podium position or even into the lead. It is very important for Leo to keep no penalties to their name, to stay where they are, so that it could all be very much important for the championship. They're currently still crowned if this keeps going for the win, for the championship. We will hear their words after the race as well. Ellie goes into P6, up on the inside of the McLaren Red Bull. Are they going to put too much pressure? Not quite. And so Ellie goes up into P6. In the back, Leo's only 1/10 behind there. A lot of troubles and pressures happening all around. But now it seems to be pretty set Leo is comfortably now leading the championship. It is all too much for maybe the McLaren to get it together. But up into now turn 12. The kick Sauber goes on the inside of the McLaren, but couldn't get the run towards the entry of the corner. So backs out of that one. Leo gains a lot of time through that, but so did William and Joker, and Ellie is now a second down there as well. This could be a big train, and Ellie could gain a lot of time. They are one driver with the freshest tires in this group. Drive gets a 3-second penalty. So did another driver, which I didn't see, was too fast. For the lead of the change, could be a switch here now. Leo goes to the end of the kick. Sauber nearly even going into the back of the McLaren, but didn't manage to get the McLaren, but goes up with the P2. And now Leo, only driver up in front who is holding them up for the win. But no, wait, the kick Sauber goes to the inside. Careful. They do bang a bit of wheels on the entry of turn 5. Oh, banked. Oh no, they collided and a bit of together. Leo drops down to P3. Not too much time lost, but that's a joke on the inside. Oh dear, there could have been troubles. That could have cost them so much, but they stay in P3. They were sticking together like tape, but managed to unstick each other before a big collision happened. And that could have been a pretty much heartache for Leo, but nicely kept, nicely saved. And Ellie is now back for it. Could be getting that position, dropping Leo down to P4. But with the penalties being applied, Leo could be promoted back, it is still into P2, and Ellie could be a provisional leader. Cook's hopes are still not out of the out yet. If another heartache could happen, Cook could still be our championship winner. Up towards turn 4, Leo puts a bit of pressure onto the Williams. Down to turn 5 and now 6. Ellie is right at the end of the Aston Martin as well. The McLaren leads off this train through here. The only 3 drivers without a penalty are Leo, Ellie and Joker. Crucially, Leo being one of the drivers without a penalty. That is what could make it for the Aston Martin driver. So they are looking for the inside, but didn't have enough momentum to go towards turn 12. Go a bit wide. Could be with a warning there. Keep it between the lines through these couple of corners. That's easy to get a penalty through there. Through turn 16 and 17. McLaren leads off on the straight. Then the Williams, then the Aston, then the Haas, then the Aston Martin, then the Mercedes, then a kick Sauber. Ellie goes for the fastest lap of the race. Could there be a switch for the lead of the race? Maybe the Williams goes for the inside, gets the run. The Aston Martin follows through, but backs out of that. Still has the wing there. Could there... Oh, there's a bit of collision between 2 times collisions. First time with the McLaren, then with the Haas. Ellie gets a position. Leo drops down into P4. Still, they are still in the championship. Oh, their teammate goes into the back of them. But not too much. That's a Williams round. And Leo gets back up into P3. So much happening. But Williams catches the car back behind Leo. Leo is currently in P2. Ellie leads the race. Cook is currently in P3 with their penalty. What is going to happen towards turn 12? Who comes out in front? Who will do it? What will happen? It is so interesting. Up towards turn 16. Ellie could have the run to the McLaren. Leo could maybe get it as well. Nice run by the Haas. Goes with the DS immediately for the overtake on the inside. The McLaren uses all their battery, but then charges right at the end, and that is where the Haas gets a position. The Leo, Aston Martin, goes for it down the inside. They are wheel to wheel. Turn 2, bit of collision. Turn 3, and the McLaren gets pushed off a little bit. Who's round? That's Joker round. Joker spun round. That I saw an Aston Martin round, but that was not enough. We see the Williams trying to go for it as well. That was quite of a shock. It would have been a huge heartache if it would have been Leo, but Leo's still safe against the odds. Still here running behind the McLaren of Cook. William is just following behind. Oh dear. I am losing my voice slightly here. The next DS zone. DS Martin. Leo goes through the inside. The Williams on the outside. They were free wide for a moment. Make the McLaren lose the position. DS Martin goes up into P2. And so the McLaren drops down to P4. Of course, William penalty will put them down into P4. So Cook is currently in a P3. Not enough to go for the championship. Of course, with the rivalry being ahead as well. But William could change everything. Down the inside, they got side by side. Before the corner starts, William got the position. Turn 1. Now turn 2. Keeping it together. Those corners are the most difficult ones to get through. Of course, when they go side by side as well, even more tough. Cook lost a bit of time on the main straight and for the first couple corners. Through the first sector, Cook did not get enough time. So much happening, and my voice is losing its touch to reality, but there's still 12 laps to go. Ellie leads comfortably. That strategy call did them wonders. Through sector 2, William is in P2, but not enough to stay in there. Of course, a 6 seconds penalty will cost them too much. Ellie gets a penalty. Ellie gets a 3-second time penalty. And that is huge. Still stays in P1 currently with the gap that they have. Leo and Joker, the two Estebans, the only drivers without a penalty. Will this stay like that? Is this what we're looking for? Is this what the first position could be? But, of course, there's a Martin of Leo. Could be looking to get position back towards turn 1. They are side to side, wheel to wheel. Turn 1. Turn 2, bang a bit of wheels. Turn 3, and there's Manus back up in front. The McLaren looks to get the position of the Williams as well. DS open, the Williams is the only driver without the DS. Of course, the connected DS zones make it difficult, but the McLaren doesn't have enough strength and speed, so the Williams stays in P3. Being the block between the two drivers. But the Aston Martin first into turn 6. Then the Williams, then the McLaren. Now these three here are making a spectacular battle, with Leo still being the driver to come out champion out of this. We are nearing the dying parts of the race, with the Aston Martin slowly gaining time. The drivers here, the Williams goes wide. This another warning. And in the back, the Aston Martin of Joker gains a bit of time as well. They were nearly fully round out of turn 3, but gains back the time. The Williams is close enough to have a look to overtake the Aston Martin back towards turn 1. Will the Williams have the time, have the speed? Not enough for turn 1, but there's still the next DS zone where the Williams still has the DS. On the exit here, it has to look for a crucial good exit. The McLaren got also a good exit following through, but the Aston Martin is just too far ahead for the Williams to do anything. But towards turn 4, the Williams nearly goes into the back of the McLaren. The McLaren seems to be struggling a little bit through these couple of corners, and that's we went twice through there. And so Leo stays up into P2. I point out missing out battles up in the back, but this is very crucial here. The loft magnet MP14 is very close to its Purge, but of course Purge's penalty is a lot to count for. 32 fully risking a disqualification, but up in front the Williams is losing a bit of touch through the middle sector, but that's a bit deep by the Aston Martin. Collision between the two, but not enough for the Williams to give damage to the Aston Martin. Up to the main straight. Joker's out fully part of the play here as well. Now we see on the main straight, bit of a gap off the Aston Martin to the Williams, but Cook could have it onto the Williams. The Williams goes for the inside. They have the straight and speed advantage. Goes for the position. They do it. They managed And go back into P2. And Esteban nearly goes a bit wide, risking a warning. And so Cook goes up into P3. And their teammate Joker goes up as well. Leo gets demoted into P5. Still ahead of Cook with there's no penalties involved. But this could be a huge switch. If Leo gets a penalty, Cook has it again. Could have the championship back in their belt. Back for them. It is all here. Joker has got the position on Leo. So that is the one position that Leo is not going to get. But will Leo manage to get no penalties towards turn 13 and 14? Careful the track limits, but Leo is close enough to maybe have a look on the main straight on a teammate. Of course, our teammate has a DS as well. Cook could have a game. Cook could get the position back to the Williams. With a bit of DS play, there is a bit of trouble for Leo to be done. 10 points currently to Leo's name after this race. Who will come out on top in the championship? Going throughout the second to find the straight. The second straight. Second yes zone. Joker could have a look to the McLaren. Maybe looking for the inside. Stays back out. Leo, but nearly missing the breaking point. Goes to the back of the teammate. Colliding nearly twice through there. Is that damage for the Aston Martin? Does not seem like it. But that was very risky. Leo was very brave on the brakes. Too brave for their own good. Now through the middle sector. The Aston Martin. The pair stay in P4 and P5. Of course, this will be P2 and P3. After this, the McLaren goes offensive towards turn 12. Stay ahead. And William is running away a little bit towards turn 13. Cook is under pressure. Out of the DS zone from the Williams. Did they manage? Did they get it just at the end? Going now throughout the final main straight. The start finish straight. And the McLaren just got it. We're on the brink of losing the DS. But Leo does not have the straight and speed to gain the time to the teammate. Turn 1 and now through turn 2. They are very close to each other. And could have a look. The McLaren is under pressure here by the two Aston Martins behind. The only two cars who have not got a penalty in this race follow through. Turn 5, now turn 6. The Aston Martin of Joker could very much gain a position on Cook. On paper they already have, but of course if a penalty does come into play, they would love to have that secured, that podium position. Good run out of turn 11, up towards turn 12. They now look for the inside, but then back out of it again. Bit of collision between the two, a bit of touching, but there Cook is fully out of the DS zone and is very much under pressure, not only by Joker but by Leo as well. Entering lap 7 laps to go. 6 plus this one. Here we go, main straight. Joker could get it. The Aston Martin of Leo is just a bit too far behind, but there we go. Joker goes up into P3. Leo could be looking for the inside, but backs out of it. One of the two does need to be forced into a mistake. Cook hopes it's Leo. Leo hopes it's Cook. Of course, Leo only needs to bring that car where it is currently to win the championship. Cook needs to do an absolutely extraordinary drive to bring that car up to P2. With Cook, Leo staying in P5, they could secure it. But currently, it still seems that it is not so safe. Cook is currently staying in P3, but Joker needs to be overtaken somehow. Up towards turn 12. Leo could have a shot in the back, we see. Stays behind so far. Turn 12 is a really difficult overtaking opportunity, as of course if you just go a bit wide, that is it with a warning, and you can't rack up too many warnings before a penalty happens. Now through the final corner. Cook dropped out of the S zone off Joker as well, and Leo could have an easy time overtaking back DS open. Lap 31 out of 36. So he goes down the inside. And does it nicely. Up to turn 1. A championship leader. Nicely overtake. Nice overtake to gain back P4. On paper, even P3. There gets the fastest lap of the race. So none of the two championship contenders do have the fastest lap point. Up in front, Joker is gaining time on William as well. There could be a bit of trouble here as well. William leads into the second sector, entering the third. Does not have the DS towards turn 12. Up towards the braking point now. Careful the track limits. You need to be careful. The curb doesn't count. It's the white line. And that was a nice final sector by the two drivers. Joker gains a lot more time right on their rear diffuser. There is a good run out the final corner as well. With the DS, it will be an easy overtake. In the back, Cook has lost the entire pace. Nearly 2 seconds down to Leo. There is a Cook, I believe, having given out to the championship battle. Yellow sector 2. Could there be a safety car? Safety car for the end of the race. Safety car before the end of the race. Oh dear. Oh, this is important. This safety car is make it or break it. And the championship is blown wide open again. So, the Haas leads off. Will Ellie doing another surprise pit stop? The soft tires could make it till the end. Oh, that was quite a rear end loss by the Haas. Because freshest tires on there. Cook has two options. Stays out, hoping that everyone in front goes in for a stop. And Ellie does not. Joker neither nor does Williams, and no one in front. Pit. What will Cook do? Cook surprise pit stop. Cook goes for it. Will it work? The soft tires. Will they work? Mediums. They're going for the mediums. A surprise choice of tires. Soft could make it till the end, but I believe they have no fresh softs left for play. And now, with about 2 laps to go after the safety car, Cook is gonna have to drive off their life. Leo, currently championship leader and secures it so far, and it is a 1 in a million chance for Cook to get it here. I'm not going to be a pessimist about this. Of course, it's still all on the table. Racing is just all about that. There is no confirmation before the race comes to an end. But Cook has a ton of pressure on their shoulders now, while Leo just needs to bring it back home to be the champion tonight in OWLS Esports. Season 3. Could the Italian make it to get it home, to bring it for their team as well? If they finish their position, Aston Martin will be crowned team champion as well. And it's going to be a total domination, driver and team champion for it. So here we see lap 34 out of 36, and according to the rules of the games, even if the rest of the grid doesn't catch up, this lap will be a safety car in this lap. There cannot be a safety car till the end of the race. So we will have a showdown for the final 2 laps of the race between Leo and Cook. Cook needs to do an absolute monster drive to get the points he needs. Leo just needs to bring the car safely home to get the championship. And I need to take a breather. I have absolutely lost my breath throughout this race. And so, entering the final 2 laps of the race. After this lap, the safety car will go in, even if the rest of the grid doesn't manage to catch back up. Safety car in this lap. So, let's have a look on board by the Ferrari powered Haas. Will be the first one to lead off. Ellie had a great safety car restarts in this season so far in the past few races. But will they manage to do it again? That could have been a good call. The Joker. Leo, 10-second penalty! Leo has a 10-second penalty! Oh dear! Leo, surprising 10-second penalty is under pressure, and Ellie had an immense start up in the back. Could put pressure on the Haas. Up in front, up in the back is also ghosting by the Ferrari. They are, I believe, flapped. McLaren could go. So what can happen here? Oh, it's all so to play for. So much to going on. Cook needs to bring it. They could do it. Cook could do it. Cook could do it. Pardon me about that sound. Cook could do it. Oh my, I need to catch my breath. Cook could be champion here. That 10-second penalty could ruin Leo's hopes for a championship. Could get the position on special one. If they do, they could be very easily done also on Leo. Behind Leo, special one. It has only a 6-second penalty to drop down. 1, 2. For a corner could make it. Yes, available for the final lap of the race. Here we see on the inside, Cook gets a position. Goes up. Will this be enough? I don't know enough to the points to a T. We will see after they cross the line. On the inside on the McLaren and the Red Bull of O'Connor. And with that, Leo could drop another place. It's so much going on. Cook is right behind Leo. Pardon me, Leo I meant. Could drop for more places. And in the final lap, it could all go away for the championship leader. Going through the final time for the middle sector. Ben gets another 3-second time penalty. The name that we need to look out for at the top is Leo's name. Leo goes up into P4, overtaking there. Cook goes up to P5 as well. Currently being in P3. Don't catch gets another penalty. There's a spin in the back. That is Alpha corner. That could make a lot. It's pertinent. That's another 3-second penalty. So Ellie wins the race. Pardon me, Joker wins. Cook in P3. Special in P4. William in P5. I'm about P6. Leo in P7. And with that, I don't know what to say. Has Cook done it? Has Cook secured it? P3 to P7. Has he secured it? Has he done it? Is the McLaren driver champion or is Leo champion? We are gonna see now once the timetable pops up. Is it gonna be enough? So there needs to be a 9-point difference at the double counter points. Congratulations to Joker for winning. Congratulations for Ellie for P2. Congratulations for Cook for P3. To Cook for P3. Aston Martins a champion of Season 3. But who is champion in the driver standings? Who does it? Who did it? Who is gonna be the top driver to have done it? We will see now. 9 points difference. Needs to be between. I can't advance for some reason. The game is bugging. So it is Joker. Pardon me. Leo, 14 points. Cook, 20 points. And it's Leo, champion of Season 3. Leo has done it. Leo has done it. He is champion. He has secured it. That is 9 points at the end. But he needed to lose more than 12. Cook should have had to get P2 to win. But no, Leo, the Italian Aston Martin driver, is champion of Season 3. Congratulations. Whew, that was an exciting Season 3. Absolutely beautiful. And before we go to the end of the stream, we have our drivers' interviews for a top 3. And so, it is Leo, champion in Season 3. Congratulations to Leo. And I believe I will now go for the interviews. We will have a bit of a talk now with the drivers. So, I believe the first one, of course, we have to talk to is Leo, the Italian Aston Martin driver. Something absolutely beautiful. So, Leo could be joining us any second. But, wow. That was an incredible finale of the race. So, let's have a look. Who will join us first? According to the pointers, of course, it is still for that sprint race incident. Still could be under under investigation, and could lose those crucial points that they've got. But Leo is current champion of Season 3. Cook was so close, so close to having gotten that championship win, but sadly it can only be one driver, and it goes to the absolute beautiful Aston Martin driver Leo, who has done an incredible final race weekend as well. So let's have a look. Once they join us, we shouldn't be too long until they can't join in here. The penalty of Leo could also might get removed as well. The 10-second for the collision. So we might have an announcement in the Discord, of course, of the OWLS Esports, who will get that champion and into the next round. We will also definitely say who got the championship. the sprint race has made it for this championship. Let's have a look who could join us. Hopefully we will have the drivers soon in here. Hopefully all the viewers are also very well hydrated, because the weather temperature of course is rising. I had 2 water breaks this way as well. Of course, with this championship battle to the line, that was an incredible. Let's have a look. Who, of course, I believe the first one to be interviewed will be a championship leader. Of course, if they want, of course, to be interviewed, it's all for them to decide. Here we go. We have Cook, P3 position.
Yep.
Sorry to say this, but I believe according to the points, you might have just lost it by 3 points to Leo. But it's still incredible sprint and feature race. What are your thoughts?
Well, sprint, we had a collision. Now, I haven't looked back at it, but I think mainly I'd give Leo enough room when he went for a gap that wasn't there, but I'll look back. Strategy in main race wasn't the best I've ever done in my life, I'll be brutally honest. Went to the hard, start there to the last of the end, obviously not. And then just got away with a safety at the end, but then it was just carnage. I don't know who restarted, I don't know what happened, but then it just was carnage at restart.
With that final pit stop, you've decided to go into the medium compounds. There was maybe also the soft in play. Why have you decided onto the mediums?
Because I did a few practice before this, and the softs wouldn't be able to last. To be honest, I thought the safety car would come in maybe a lap before it did, but it was just a gamble. I knew what the mediums felt like, I knew what the setup felt like, I knew how to control the car, so I went with what I could trust, thought it could work. But then, just chaos at the end, so no matter what tyre you were on, it was going to be chaos at the end of the day.
There was an incident with the sprint, of course, between you and with Leo. You just had your thoughts on that. Would you thought you could have gotten the championship without that incident?
It's always tough. I felt, Leo, and I'm not afraid to say, obviously I think he had the luck today. I think Wayne apparently caused a safety car right when they wanted to pits, but I don't think I would have got it. But at the end of the day, I think there are a few incidences involving Leo that I've heard of and involving other drivers, so we'll just wait and see what the final results is and what the stewards say, and then we'll move on from there, looking towards 2 tiers next season and trying to go for it then on New Game.
One more question about the feature race. You had a track limits penalty. Were you expecting that to happen, or was that more of a surprise?
It was a surprise. Now, on one of the warnings, I got forced off. I'm not going to mention who it was that forced me off. I'm going to guess you could probably have a look yourself and really find out. I'll give you a clue, it's a green car, but at the end of the day, at the end it's hard racing. I thought I'd take the pen removed, obviously got a warning later on, so that pen won't get removed. But no, I think the tyres were struggling. I pushed a bit too hard, went for it, thinking I could get positions, but it's obviously this is my first season actually battling for the title, so I'll take it as a learning curve, move to the next New Game, and then batter them all next season hopefully. That's the aim.
There's also a chance that you could still become champion if Leo could get a penalty for the sprint, or even surprise penalties in the future. Do you believe that could still happen?
To be fair, I'd have to look at the instance myself. Obviously, I don't really, but I'd have to see what the stewards say. I know I got involved in a few of them, which I am gonna look back on, as I said, with my team, and then obviously go from there. About if I'm gonna report it, but it's F1, and if it's the unexpected is to happen, you don't know what's gonna happen with stewarding, you don't know what's gonna happen actually on track. It was hard racing overall. I think there are a few other instances where people got a bit mad. It's the end of the season. People's got nothing to drive for, so they just drive like mentalists. So we'll see what the steward says, see what gets reported, and then hopefully in the middle of the week we'll find out who it is and be able to crown champion.
Right, so final words about this game, F1 25. As I've heard, the next season will go over to F1, probably F1 24, and the next season will happen in F1 25. What are your final words to F1 24?
I think it's probably my best game for me personally. When I started this lead in F1 23, I wasn't the quickest, but to say I've gone from being the 7th fastest probably on the grid to maybe this season battling for the title. The game's helped me actually realise that if you stick with stuff and you learn stuff, then you get the benefits out of it. So next game it's just going to be doing the same thing again, learning that handling model, and then looking towards can we get into tier 1 and then can we go and try and battle for that title. So it should be close next season again.
Can't wait for that to go on. Of course, 2 tiers, as you just mentioned. It's gonna be.
Yep.
If you'd like to explain how that's gonna run down.
Yeah. So we are moving to 2 tiers next season. Obviously, drivers are more than welcome to join us if anyone's watching. Yeah. Mainly we are doing maybe like the top drivers in 1 tier, and then the guys who might not be in that battle in their own tier, just so they can have experience, the feeling of winning. So obviously we're going to do a qualification process of the next couple of weeks before the new game comes out to see what tiers they're in. And then every Sunday at 7 PM and 8 PM we will have 2 tiers, tier 2 at 7 and tier 1 at 8, running for every driver who wants to take part with individual stewarding like this season.
Alright, so our final words are from me as well for you. Congratulations for this epic season. I mean, you had the shots, but sadly, of course, racing just goes this way. Only one driver can get it done. Congratulations for P2 in the championship. And let's have a look also along the week. I believe we will have the final results as well. So
yeah.
For everyone watching as well in the Discord, it will be the announcement will happen. So congratulations for the surprise podium position after that hectic feature race, and congratulations also for the feature race, for the sprint race as well. That was a quite good race as well between you, Ellie, and Leo. And I will wish you a good Sunday night.
Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy yours.
Thank you so much. And now the next driver should be either we're gonna have Ellie or Joker. I believe Leo will be the final driver we might interview tonight, as of course the championship winner. We want to have the best for last. Who will be the next driver to join us in the commentary booth for the interviews? It could be between Ellie, Ben, or I believe Joker, or I believe Leo hasn't. Okay, Ellie has sadly said no interview. Of course, that is understandable. We just have to see who will be next for interviews. Of course, having a talk to Leo would be very, very nice to say the least. So, just the next driver needs to be dragged here. Bit of confusion, so shouldn't take too long for this interview. believe a few issues arising at the end. Of course, the first time this season we have interviews, so I believe Leo doesn't want to be interviewed. I believe Leo wants to. Pardon me, other Leo wants to jump in. We're gonna have a look who might join us tonight. Of course, it's a Sunday night, a bit late as well, so going to bed early for tomorrow's workday would sadly also be a bit of a priority tonight. We had the incredible race ahead of us, and something to look forward to is the next season, as said by Henry as well, aka Cook, that it will be on the new F125 game. He also said, of course, for all the viewers, this is a league that can be joined. Of the description, the description will have the link to the Discord as well. OWLS Esport, of course, can be found by through other links as well, the Discord. But I have just positive words to say for this league and for the next 3 seasons. We have heard that now with the tier 1 and 2, anyone can go to fight for wins in their own skill class, which is very nice to hear. Very nice stuff to nice thoughts for the many drivers that are in a league like this. We could have 2 full tiers. Still a bit of issues with who to decide for the interview. Here we go. We have Ben in the Alpine joining us for tonight's interview. Good evening, Ben.
Exactly.
So, how do you say your race weekend tonight has gone?
Terrible.
Terrible.
Got caught up in an incident which brought the first safety car. Lost my wing. Then got caught up with a second incident in that first safety car on the restart. Got damage from that. I'm surprised they haven't got a point.
Well, so tonight's race, as you said, did not go in your favor. How did the season go for you? I've seen some surprise good finishes, and with Austria sadly could have been a win with that incident. How do you say, in your opinion, that your season go in season 3?
The season as a whole, I don't think a whole lot went wrong. I had a race win in the season opener, which feels like it a year ago now. It feels so long ago. And then Portugal was alright. Definitely should have had a bit more pace. I quite like Portugal. And then there were a couple of races where I couldn't attend. So, for example, I think it was Miami, which I'm pretty strong at. But I couldn't attend because I was away. So I think if I had attended all 10 races, I think I would have been further up.
So, yeah, a bit of... Yeah, this season has become... So, for the next season, of course, being a new game, F125, and also a bit of change of rules with Tier 1 and Tier 2. Where do you expect yourself to be in which tier?
I think if it was going to be down in tier 1 due to a couple of things going on soil management, so I think I'll be in tier 1. I don't know where I'll be, in all honesty. It's so competitive. I've looked at the format for it, and it is going to be a close one. That's to say, you've got a good few drivers in there, so I'm not sure, in all honesty.
Any more words about your race tonight, or do you think it was just more of a race that you'd like to forget?
I think it was just a weekend to forget, in all honesty. I did pretty well in the sprint qualifying. The sprint itself went a bit there. definitely should have had a couple more positions, but due to a couple of incidents, I think, yeah, I don't think I ended up on the best in all honesty. I think I definitely could have done a lot better.
In the sprint, I saw you could have fought for P4. Were you expecting to finish that high, or was the position built?
To be honest with you, with myself for the hard ties, I didn't expect them to come to me a bit more. I thought the medians would die off around 10 laps or so. So it is what it is. I also had a headache from the sprint onwards, so yeah, that wasn't nice.
Also, big issues with
Oh.
track limits tonight. Oh, pardon me, you have what?
Yeah, track limits will get looked at. I don't know what happened on the final lap in the final sector. That will also be looked at. Track limits as a whole, I think for everybody, it was just a pain because the tyres just went so quickly. With the tyres being so worn, it's kind of hard not to get a penalty. If you understand me, because all the track limits, particularly in sector 2, where your tyres are screaming out for help, you just end up going off the track and end up collecting a warning. So it's not easy, but I think that's just the nature of the tyres on this game.
Well, yeah, we saw across the grid a lot of track limits penalties. Only one driver, surprisingly, two drivers haven't got a track limit penalty. But one driver in the final feature race who hasn't got a penalty at all was a Joker in the Aston Martin. Congratulations to him for that race win as well. But it just looked to be just stacking up a little bit. Where was the sector where the most track limits could have been collected?
Sector 2, without a doubt. I think everybody got penalties in sector 2, obviously, of course. Other than Sam and then one other driver. So props to them. They kept it clean. I think Sam drove a fantastic race. He managed his tyres while the safety car came out at the perfect time for him as well. So I think a lot of stuff went Aston Martin's way, particularly with tyres and the strategy. But then you always got to think, could we have done a little bit better as well? Who knows?
I can see sector 2, of course, being a fast sweeping sector. Yeah, with the tyre wear, okay, was a bit interesting. But in the end, it was also a bit of a play with penalties. If less penalties could have were applied, the championship could have looked a lot different up in the front. But very interesting, and thank you, Ben, for having an incredible season as well. Nice battles to have commented over, and I'd say enjoy your Sunday and don't think too much about tonight's race.
Thank you. Thanks for the amazing commentary as well over the course of the last 3 races. You've done a fantastic job.
Thank you. Have a good night. And now we have one final driver currently in the booth, and with that it will be then a finale for season 3. So hello, I can't really read that name, have a bit of a thought. Who do we have here?
11th place specialist, I think.
Well, name would be a bit 11th place.
Love Magnet.
Love Magnet in the Red Bull. My apologies.
That's the one.
Nice. With the Red Bull, you had a few good finishes in the season here. What were your thoughts on the season?
It's a difficult season, obviously. Like Ben, it's further at the back of the grid. But yeah, it's been enjoyable. It's a bit more hectic at the back. I don't think the driving craft is quite like the front of the grid, hence the amount of safety cars. But yeah, it's been enjoyable.
Would you rank your final race of the season?
I think disappointing. I think both the sprint race and the actual race was probably littered with a few incidents. I think during the actual race, the safety car caused a few problems in terms of when I'd pitted for the tyres, so I'd gone in ahead to try and jump the queue. But then the safety car come and everyone was on few laps fresher tyres, so it didn't quite go to plan. And again, I just think a few incidents at the back. It's a bit more difficult to go for an overtake 'cause it's a bit more unpredictable. But yeah, probably a bit disappointing.
With now next season of Tier 1 and Tier 2, where would you expect yourself to be in which tier?
I'd probably say Tier 2. I mean, I think most races this season have been around 11th position, but we've got a lot of quick drivers coming in. So I'd suspect probably higher up in the Tier 2, but I'd be surprised if I scraped Tier 1.
That is an interesting thing to say, being in the grey zone between the two tiers. Well, we're gonna have to see how that goes, but of course, all luck to that. With the setups, I feel that could be a bit issue. Were you struggling with the car in a few of these rounds?
Some of the rounds, I mean, to be honest, I mean today the sprint race weirdly felt alright and felt more grippier after I took some wing damage. But again, the tyre wear, like Ben said today, was a difficult one. Some of the other races, the setup's been fine. It's just been unfortunate circumstances. But yeah, I mean, it's always tough when you're going up against people that you know are quite quick. We've got a lot of competitive people with the league as it is at the minute, so it's always a scrap for the final few points.
Interesting. Okay, so with that is always good to know with the next season being a bit of an interesting one, as you said, fast drivers coming in and seeing that the car setups was often on point, but here and there a bit of a miss. Of course, F1 24 has been said by many people that it's a bit of a game where it's a hit or miss by drivability style. Heard next game will be a bit different with the physics again, so there will be a bit of a new learning curve. Do you believe with the new physics, do you think you might see yourself better or worse?
I mean, I think I'd struggle to get worse. I mean, it's the first season racing, so it's the first game that I've properly done it on. So again, still getting to grips, but hopefully coming into the next game, I'm going to look at going to the manual gears. So we'll see if we can gain any pace in that direction.
Interesting. Okay, so with that, that's I believe is the final interviews round. Do you have any final words to say before saying your goodbyes?
No, I just think good luck to everyone next 2 weekends, and we'll see where people rank.
Right, so have a fantastic Sunday night. Of course, being your first season, don't stress too much about the season, and just keep your mind to the next one and have a good night. And of course, practice makes the best.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
And so there we go. We had our interviews there for our drivers. We had Henry, aka Cook's McLaren. We had Ben W, the Alpine, and the Red Bull of. Pardon me, the name is a bit long, but we had the Red Bull driver there of the Love Magnet. There we go. Pardon me there for the Love Magnet. Probably only typing that I had it wrong. But a good freeway commentary there to have to round up the season, to round up the stream and the weekend. And with that, I wish you all viewers a good night, a good rest, and we will see you all in season 4 in F1 25 in the OWLS F1 Leagues F1 League. So good night to everyone, and see you all